I'm John Killoran. I am not an orator. I'm an inventor. And we've been working on this for 4 years, this cooler kind of checkout technology. And I was giving a presentation about a year ago. Like I said, I'm not an orator, but it was an audience of about 700 people. And that made me nervous, right? So the night before I was practicing, and I got the whole family around in our bedroom, and my wife was on the bed, and my 16-year-old son was sitting right here, and my 13-year-old daughter was here. And even one of our dogs showed up. And so I jumped right into it. I was trying to be dynamic and engaging and start with a bang. And about 3 seconds into the talk, my 13-year-old daughter pulls out her phone and just starts texting. Great. I really won her over. Apparently, 13-year-old girls aren't really interested in fast checkout processes or converting more sales. So I went on and I did the best I could. And when I finished, I said, hey, there's any questions out there? What'd you think? And to my shock, my 13-year-old daughter raised her hand. And I'm like, yes, Michelle. Well, first, Dad. And here, she was using her phone to take notes on my presentation. And I got this 15-minute critique. There was 12 points that she went into in incredible detail. Almost shattered my confidence because it was piercing, but it was great and so adorable, and I felt better that my daughter actually cares about what I'm doing, so it was great. But the point is, these things are just every bit of our life. I mean, I'm with it all day long. Oops, excuse me. In fact, just the other night I fell asleep with it, so I guess I sleep with my phone as well. And we're with these things 24 hours a day. We all know that this is the center of the world for us, our BFF, if you will. And about a year and a half ago, I was at an Electronic Transaction Association conference in Scottsdale. I don't know if anyone else here was there. Was anyone else at that payments conference? And do you remember Ed Labrie did the keynote? Ed's a very funny guy. He's the vice chair of First Data Corporation, and if you're not into the electronic transaction world, First Data is the biggest processor out there. They boast 7 million merchants processed through First Data. They are the big dog. And Ed was talking, and he brought this up, and he said, it was a great statement he made. He says, 5 years ago, if I asked you 5 years ago, what percentage of transactions are going through this device? And I said, who thinks 10% are going through this? Half of you would have raised your hand. Okay, that's 2008. Half of you would have thought by 2013, 10% will be going through this. And if I said, who thinks 25% will be going through this? The other half of you would have raised your hand. And then Ed made his big point. He said, I am here as the vice chair of First Data to tell you that as of today, 0% of transactions are going through this device. That's an astonishing fact. I think it's closer probably to 0.5% of transactions or something like that, but his point is generally correct. And how can it be that this thing that we live with, that is like the center of our world, when people lose it, they freak out. Every time it bings, they look at it. I heard a stat that that the addictive feel when your phone bings, your impulse to look at it is on par with like cocaine addiction. It's that kind of an impulse, something you have to almost get over. So how is it that these things that we spend so much time on, we don't buy anything through? I think that's incredible. So to back up Ed's stats, see various numbers. If you click on a link here from an email or you're on a website and you go to buy something, the abandonment rate is at 94%. So 94% of the people who start to do a checkout quit. And I've seen it as high as 97%. Who cares? I mean, it's over 90%. That's a disaster, right? And you're putting all this money into mobile web. You're putting all this money into emailing, marketing, without results. And that's a problem. So what we've been working on is studying what is going on. Why, why can't we do this better? We've looked at some things that are super successful. Everyone, who here doesn't have a Kindle, or who here has a Kindle? Okay. The Kindle, as we know, is a great buying experience. A friend got me to start reading the Jack Reacher series. Have you read the Jack Reacher series? I read the first book, and it was really good. But the fact that I can just go 2 clicks at the end, I've read 14 books. You just can't stop. It's so easy. So I've made 14 more transactions where if there was a username or a password, because passwords suck, right? If that was there, I may have only read 1 book. I may have said, forget about it, I'll do it later, and then never come up again. But the fact that they hooked me right there, it's just so easy. I'm interested at that moment because I just finished the last book. I want to know what happens next. And I could just effortlessly 2-click, boom, I have a new book to read, I'm locked in, and a sale occurred. So the point of this is that if we're going to convert from the mobile phone, it has to be effortless. It has to be so frictionless. If you're going to put friction in there, I don't think it's rational. You shouldn't even do it. You should go do something else. I mean, if you're going to set up a system in which 94% of the people are going to quit on you, what are you building that system for? So the other thing about mobile, too, is these are mobile phones. And usually when I'm using it, I'm mobile too, right? So my attention span is very limited. Even if I'm sitting in a coffee shop waiting for somebody, I'm here, I'm still looking out for that person. I'm multitasking, I'm doing multiple things. And text messages are popping in, distractions are occurring. So if you do pique someone's interest on this device, you need instant gratification, instant closure on that interest. You can't let it linger or it's not going to occur. So, in working on this solution, and you have things in front of you that I want you to, this is where it's going to get a little interactive, so you can get a sense of what we're envisioning as another tool in your arsenal. Everybody have this particular QR code? Oh. Who here has a QR reader on their phone? All right, please open your QR reader at this moment. And I'm going to show you the fastest donation checkout on the planet. So if you open your QR reader and simply scan this QR code, this could be on a t-shirt right here, it could be on a Facebook post, it could be in print media. Give it a scan. I just scanned mine. Up pops a mobile website. Now, don't worry, you will not be charged, I think. No, I guarantee you will not be charged. Okay, and Scroll down this list, and you see these buttons? This is where it gets exciting from this point on. These are mobile-optimized email checkout buttons. So go ahead and click one, and watch what happens. Just pick your favorite donation amount. Go ahead and push it. Go for it. Don't be afraid. Okay. It just opened an email on your email client. Okay. Now we're in a program that's resident. The app that you already have on your phone is now engaged. It's an email. Read the email. Would you read the email out?
Send us email order form to confirm your purchase of $500. If we need more info, we'll let you know.
Great. So go ahead and push that button, the send button. Boom, he just donated. 2-click donations out of email. Fast. This could be an e-commerce transaction. It is fast, it's email. Everyone has an email account. Well, I should say, everybody with a job and who has money has an email account. You might miss out on the 9-year-old demographic and the 12-year-old demographic, but everybody has an email. And email is just growing in popularity. So did you see that experience? Was everyone able to do it? How's the paper? Okay, so there's a card on file. It all requires a card on file. It's a card not present transaction. Once you sign up with any AppPay merchant, it works on all merchants. You'll get a confirmation email that says, hey, do you want to use that card? And you say yes, yes for that merchant, and then you're signed up. So that is QR and mobile web. Let me take this thing here. Now, if you click on this QR, right here, it'll take you to the AppPay store. You can see how this checkout would work where you have to pick size and color, where you have options. It's not just a simple 2-click transaction. We call it a 4-click transaction. And again, it utilizes email to make that happen. Did it work for you? There you go. And then hit send. So it references your card on file? Right. Or on that merchant site. So we're currently building this into, we have a plugin for Magento. We're building one for Woo. The Magento and the Woo plugins are by invitation only. We're piloting in e-commerce. Our main focus here is really in bill pay. Imagine getting your Comcast bill with a QR code in it and just scanning it and paying it. No need to write a check. No need for who knows what a stamp costs these days? Anybody? No? 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 49. Here we go. So, right. I mean, you can just forget that whole check writing thing and the whole putting stamps together. You simply just scan the bill and hit send, and you're done. It's great. We think AppPay is going to be involved in about 100 million bills going out per month. Over the next couple months, you'll be seeing it. It's a great way to pay a bill. And the other area that we've been focusing on is nonprofit. So we're heavily released in the nonprofit space, and we're heavily releasing in the bill pay space. We think there's an e-commerce use for this here, and we're piloting it right now on the Magento platform and the WooCommerce platform. So, all right. All right. The last thing, there's a web checkout that we have that it's kind of like PayPal, but it's a lot better because there's no password involved. So you just fill up your shopping cart full of stuff. Pick it exactly how you want. Tax and shipping gets all calculated. When you go to checkout, you simply click the AppPay button, up pops, enter your email address, and it shoots you a button. And that button is a 2-click button from email. You click it twice, it makes that same email you've been sending here on this QR demo, sends it back and completes the transaction. Don't really have a great way to... Mandy, did we send demo emails out in the beginning for the t-shirts?
Yeah, but they were a 2-click black email itself.
Okay, great. So did everybody get that email? Because you know, if you did? So if you get that email and you double click it, you can get a free Password Suck t-shirt in the back. These t-shirts are great, by the way, if you want to start conversations. Literally, I walk around, we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I walk around town with it, and people are so unbelievably passionate about their hatred for passwords. Like literally, they come up to you and physically touch you. And they're like, oh my God, let me tell you about my password story. I have this spreadsheet. And then they go on, you know, with their spreadsheet and how it works. One time, Albuquerque's up around 5,000, 6,000 feet, and we're stopped to the east by Sandia Mountain. Who's been to Albuquerque? Okay, so you've seen this mountain. Stops the city to the east, great hiking. It's like minutes from the city, so you can just go and go for a hike. One day, I'm coming down the mountain, been thinking all day, I'm in my zone, I've got the t-shirt on, and I'm coming down to this, there's a fork in the there's a T in the trail, and there's 2 ladies standing there. And I'm moving like 4 miles an hour. And I'm about 15 feet past them, and I hear, I love your t-shirt. And I just sort of say, thanks, that's great. And then she goes, let me tell you, I have this spreadsheet, and da-da. And I'm walking down the trail, and she's screaming at me. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I have to go hear the story. So I turn around, walk all the way back up, and her girlfriend and her telling me the story and how much they hate passwords. So, so if you want a t-shirt and you want to add some social interaction to your life, they're right in the back. All right. I really think if you want to convert, you need to get rid of the password. If people have to remember that password, it is a barrier. I really think Homo sapien, we are this evolving beast of a person. I know we think of ourselves in these grandiose ways, but as a species, we're really just evolving. We're really just coming in. Certain points I like to point out, like Da Vinci, The Last Supper, was the first time, 400 years ago, was the first time in the history of humanity that we got perspective right. You know, up to that point, we had painted everything wrong. You know, that's only 400 years ago. We are an evolving species, and we have to keep it simple if we want people to convert and to buy from us. So, I think commerce in the United States, retail commerce, I think it was 4.2 trillion was done, I think, in the last year, the last article I read. And, you know, e-commerce is getting all the buzz, right? You see a lot of buzz in the paper about e-commerce. I think only 200, maybe 300 billion of that 4 trillion is e-commerce. The rest is just regular commerce. I mean, the point of this is that I think we're still at the very, very beginning of e-commerce, and we're still figuring things out. I know people feel like it's this fully developed thing, but it's just at the beginning. And everybody in this room is involved with e-commerce. You're pioneers. And that's good news and bad news. Isn't it cool to be a pioneer? Do you think it's cool to be a pioneer? No. You're right. Pioneers are the ones that usually get shot in the head or get an arrow in the back by the indigenous culture. What you really want to be is a settler. I mean, the settlers they're the ones that reap the benefits. Okay, the pioneer blazes a trail, gets killed. Okay, but they break open the territory, and then the settlers move in and have generation after generation of homesteading and wealth and prosperity. So this is my closing thought, is that if you're in e-commerce, if you're consulting to people in e-commerce, you have to push them. You have to be looking for the best tools. Unfortunately, you're pioneers, and you're pioneers who want to become settlers. And if you don't use the best tools available and pay attention to the terrain and the culture that you're in, you're going to end up like an unfortunate pioneer. So with that, look for fast checkouts, AtPay in particular, and convert more sales. Thanks, everybody. I think we have time for questions. How are we? Yes?
I guess my question is you're offering this to merchants.
Yeah.
Who is right now taking the risk on the credit card transaction? Are the merchants now processing, are they processing directly, or are you processing for them?
Great question. When we started AtPay, we're like, oh, this is going to be easy, because we had figured out the technology, the basic technology with my other company, Cloverleaf. And we're like, oh, this will be great. 6 months, we'll do this project, and we'll be done. It's been an odyssey. If anyone knows the payment world, it's slightly complex, right? So the way it is the merchant takes the risk, okay? It's the merchant's merchant account that gets used. We've integrated this technology into, I don't know, Manny, is it 70 gateways?
70 gateways, 82 countries.
So for the last 4 years, we've been getting this thing integrated. So if you're a merchant, all you need is whatever your API key is. It's your merchant services provider gives you a key for their gateway. You simply put that in, and that QR code links right through your merchant account. Any button you make goes right through your merchant account. Your web checkout goes right through your existing merchant account. So does that answer your question? Sure. Okay.
So if a merchant's taking the risk, how does it qualify now? With a card present, say a retailer, if you're swiping the card and the card is present, the interchange rates are going to be a lot more favorable, especially with a debit card.
Right.
If now the merchant is using a third party, the card is almost considered not present.
It's definitely a card not present transaction.
So the merchant is now incurring a higher interchange, qualifying at a higher interchange rate.
Absolutely.
Using your product.
Yes.
How do you?
So this is not for in-store. This is not an in-store solution. I mean, I need to make that really clear. We call it AtPay because you can pay wherever you're at, okay, as well as the for email. So it's about remote buying. It's like when you're sitting on the couch, and there's a commercial on, and you're reading. That's when we read those emails we would never read, right? You're like, oh, I got 3 minutes to kill. That's the buying moment. If you're in a coffee shop, if you're out and about, if you see the QR code on a poster or on someone's shirt or on a Facebook post, you're not in the store. So it's a card not present transaction.
The reason I was asking is because I know a mobile application right now that they can go into the store and scan the merchandise at a supermarket, and it holds on to that and they can check out.
Right. Yeah, that's different. That's an in-store solution, right? It's an app. Yeah, yeah. That's different than what we're doing, because we're the in-store world. Everyone's in the in-store world. I mean, Google Wallet's here, Apple Pay's here, and I'm really curious on how they're going to do. I mean, Apple's the coolest company in the world. They've got the best shot at really having an impact. But for me, it's still, until they can replace my driver's license, until I no longer need here, my wallet's up in the room. Swiping a card is easy. God, it's so easy. The last thing I want to do is have my phone, be ready. My phone is always, like, I'm on 18% power right now. I live on 18% battery power. I don't know about you. Can you imagine having your shopping cart full of stuff at Whole Foods and you're going to check out and you're like, oh crap, it just died. What do? You still need your wallet. Any other questions?
Can I go one for you?
Yeah.
So let's say you're e-commerce, you're going for a card not present to order your groceries. But you're gonna pick them up at a store on your way home. So do you have the ability to move that transaction down in the store so that when you present the card to pick up groceries, then the transaction can become card present? Therefore, the retailer pays a lower rate.
It's a good idea. Don't patent that on me. That's a great idea. We haven't considered that. What we're interested in and excited about the idea is of saving print media. With those QR codes and that quick buying experience, we think we can turn the Sunday paper into like a web store. You could sit there, cruise through the Sunday paper, all your local merchants would maybe advertise again in the Sunday paper, and you're like, oh yeah, I need that. Click, buy. Click, buy. And the idea is you prepay, so the merchant gets the sale right ahead, right away, and then you go into the store to pick it up. That's one of the ideas that we're toying with as a cool solution for local merchants to expand their reach beyond that little storefront that they have. And we also call it a solution for what I call the unwebbed. Okay, it's merchants that all they do is swipe cards. They don't have a website, they don't have a digital marketing campaign, they're not sending email, they're not on social media. They're just merchants who are out there trying to make a living, and there's millions of them. So they can make a QR code in a minute, link it to 20 or 30 of their products, put it in the Sunday paper, and people can buy. That's an idea that we're toying with. All right, anybody else? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the show.